Hello peeps, how would you like to tap into your genius? And just before we begin, let's just get into a nice state. So taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And it's good to close your eyes, but you don't have to, especially if you're in company or something or in a certain place. But it just allows you to go inward, right? So breathe in through the nose. Hold it for just a second or two. And breathe out through the nose. Get used to that nose breathing. That's it. And again, in through the nose. Hold. And out through the nose. Now this time, breathe in through the nose, but imagine breathing into your heart. And hold it in the heart. Now I know you can't hold it in the heart, but it's just an imagination, okay? And as you breathe out, let that heart breath go to every cell in your body. Again, in and out through the nose. So in through the nose, into the heart, hold. Allow that heart breath to hold. And then let it go and let it go into every cell in your body. That's it. Now this time, inhale, hold, heart breath. Now as you let go, let it fill your energy, the energy around you, even the room that you're in perhaps. Fill the room with that heart energy. That's it. And just continue that way while I'm chatting away to you. And I appreciate that I might talk a little slowly for you. But the good news is, on YouTube, you can speed it up. So you can put me to 1.25 or 2 times if you want, you know. But remember that the key here is not to speed everything up. The world is so fast right now. The last thing we want to do is start speeding everything up. What we want to do is slow things down. So this is why it's so good. If you could get into the habit, maybe every hour, of just taking a few heart breaths. That will put you into what we've talked about, the parasympathetic or the rest and digest, which is basically a relaxation system. That's going to help you no matter what you're doing. That's going to help you tap into your genius straight away, right? Have you ever had a gut feeling? People say a gut feeling. You notice I'm pressing here. It's very close to the heart, right? Well, there's a reason for that. This is the area that we experience our emotions, of course. Our emotions come from here. But it seems to be a portal. I'm getting into all esoteric type stuff, but a portal to tap into our intuition. Now, have you ever had a gut feeling? Have you ever had a moment where it somewhat defies logic? Like logic would tell you, I need to do this, but for some reason, I just feel like this is the way. Or you meet a person and everything should tell you they're the right person for you, maybe, but there's something not right. Or the other way. Everything should tell you to stay away, but for some reason you notice something in that person or that position or that situation. I think we've all had that at some stage in our lives. Now imagine I give you an option. It's hypothetical, so don't throw questions and all of this. It's hypothetical. It's not real. But imagine you had the option of 2 laptops, right? I got a laptop in each hand. Now this laptop, oh my gosh, it is the bum diggity laptop you've ever seen in your entire life, right? It is up to date, the latest camera, all the bells and whistles on this thing. This thing is amazing. It's got storage capacity beyond your wildest dreams. You'll never run out of storage, right? It's got everything you could ever need except for one thing, or 2 things maybe. First of all, obviously you need to plug it in. Second of all, it cannot access the internet in any way, shape, or form. Now, of course, that's unheard of nowadays, but just bear with me on this. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of machinery. It just doesn't have access to the internet. So it's got massive storage in there. It's got all sorts of encyclopedias and all sorts of stuff, but it doesn't have access to up-to-date information, okay? The second laptop, it's your basic laptop, right? You could almost say it's your iPhone in that sense, although the iPhone sort of, or your latest phone or whatever, but it's not like got any major storage. It's not got or any fancy apps or anything like that. It's very basic, just a basic laptop. But it's got two things going for it. First of all, it's solar powered. So this thing, you could be on a desert island, it will recharge itself. It'll never run out. Plus, it has the bum diggity 24/7 access to the internet wherever you are in the world. There is no dead zone for this laptop. You can always access it. So, which one would you choose? Now, some smart aleck might say, well, you can do this. I appreciate there are many pluses to this laptop. However, you must admit that it's only good for so long because it only has the storage, the memory, the data that you have put in it up until that point. So it can never be updated. It will just be what you have up to now, right? Which will be fantastic, but will it be, in the future? Now the other one, okay, it hasn't got all that information, but you can look it up, So what's the big deal, right? So I've got good news and bad news. I'll tell you the bad news first. The bad news is almost all of us are using this laptop. We're using this laptop and we're using it right here. This is the most bum diggity laptop you could ever wish for in your entire life, right? But it's not tapped into the internet. What we tend to do is use amazing storage, right? We've got incredible memories, but unfortunately, everything that we're coming up with is only based on what has happened in the past. And if you're basing everything on what's happened in the past, and on top of that, don't forget that this thing looks for what's wrong on a general basis because it's looking to keep you safe. So if you're suffering from anxiety, for instance, especially social anxiety, every situation is going to be based on the past. And let's be honest, you haven't had good memories of the past. So you're going to go into every single situation based on memories of the past. Is it any wonder you get anxious? That's the bad news. Here's the good news. You've got both. You not only have connection to the internet, but you have both. You have the bum diggity thing, right? This is the ultimate laptop. But what we're doing is letting this control us. And we're locked off. See, it's like we're cut off from here. We don't use our internet, our intuition. We don't use our inner GPS. So of course we're going to get anxious. Of course we're going to get upset. Of course we're going to get depressed. I used to lock myself. I'd never been diagnosed because I wouldn't even go to a doctor. I would just lock myself in a room. And if you've ever experienced this, you'll know what I'm talking about. I would close the curtains. I would have food in. And I would just cut out the world. I would cut out the world, and that was how I coped with my depression, right? And my anxiety and things like that. I would cut out the world. Why? Because I was just using this. This is all I had to go by. I don't want to go out there. It's horrible, right? But when I started tapping into the heart-mind connection, oh my gosh, life opened up for me. Again, if you've got the new information, if you can see every situation for what it is, yes, based on past, yes, you've got obviously info that could be useful, but you're not just going by that information. You're also going by new information. You're seeing it from a big picture, as opposed to this little tiny, this equals this way of thinking. So you're opening up your whole world. Does that sound good? Let's talk about IQ. Do you know that you've seen it with athletes? They do something that is superhuman, and we call it the zone, or we call it the flow. This is what we're talking about. They're tapping into their inner genius, and we all have it. We all have that inner creative genius within us, but we don't use it because we're cutting it off. We're just using this, but we're not even using this. This is using us. So this is why we get so anxious, so worked up. And yes, psychologists will tell us, well, it's because of this. I'm not disputing that their analogies. I'm simply saying, yeah, I get it. I want big picture. What's going on? This is going on, and this is not. So when we get this involved with this, now we're in it. Now we're cooking with gas, baby. So you see how life-changing this is? Don't just hear this and say, oh yeah, that makes sense, and then go on about your business. Look, this is it. This is how to change your life for the better. This is how to prevent yourself from being a victim of circumstance and to being the creator of your reality. You cannot change the world per se, but you can change your world, what you're seeing. And as a consequence, your world tends to change, but you still, but you've got to do it from here, right? This is absolutely critical to get this. So how do we do it? Well, first of all, you got to know when you're listening to intuition and when you're not. And there's a pretty simple way of knowing. First of all, the intuition tends to be, dare I say, a voice. Now, it's called the sixth sense in a way, right? We've heard of that. You got the sixth sense. But we've only got 5 senses in this world. The reason it's called the sixth sense is because it's like a knowing. You don't know why you know, but you know. You know? You just know. People say, well, how do you know? And then they say, well, I saw something. So it's visual. Well, sort of, but it's more than that, right? Or I got a feeling. Oh, so it was just a feeling, right? Well, sort of, yeah, because you can't explain it. This is why people say a sixth sense, you know? So that's the first thing. It's just a knowing. The second part to this, and a fundamental part, is there's no story attached. When you're starting to walk into a place and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to go in there because last time it was horrible, and I experienced this, and they're all going to judge me, and story, right? That's not your intuition. Your intuition says go in, or turn left, or yes, or no. That's it, right? That's your intuition. It's to the point. This is why when I talk about stuff like this, I want it to be to the point. I don't want a great load of stories involved in it, because that goes back to here. We don't want to go back to here first. We want to activate your heart, your inner GPS. The third part to this, which is also absolutely fundamental. Your intuition doesn't think you suck. So if you're going to a place and thinking, now this is probably just me, but I'm like, oh my God, I can't go in there. I don't know what to say to people. They're going to hate me. I'm such a loser. I can't even put a sentence together. See, I'm starting to stop my words now because I'm thinking, but I can't even put a sentence together. I can't go in there. You know, all these things. It's not your intuition, right? Now, by the way, quick trick. I think it's phenomenal. If you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling any tension, any sort of stress, do something physical. I'm looking at the ground because I'm thinking, do push-ups, you know? Just do push-ups, just go crazy on push-ups. So just jumping jacks or anything. Jump about. Now, obviously you can't do that in the middle of people, but you know, wherever you can, you know, just anything to disperse that energy. That will help you, again, go back into that parasympathetic. So it will get you back from here and start thinking more about here, especially if you're breathing heavy. You know, you start thinking about your heart. So that's a little tip. But here's the thing is, your intuition doesn't think you suck. So if it's saying all these things about you, why you can't do it, why you're no good for this, why anything like that, anything negative at all, it is not your intuition. Now, I'm not saying it's positive. I'm saying it's a very straightforward action or feeling or vision or whatever it is. You'll know. It takes practice, like anything. You got to practice, 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 because you're not used to using it. So just like anything, if you don't use it, you lose it. But luckily, we never lose it to the point that we can't get it back, which is fantastic. It's always there. That's the beauty. So let's practice again, shall we? Breathe in through the nose. Hold. And breathe out through the nose. Now remember, you can do this while somebody's talking with you. Breathe in through the nose. Now this time, breathe into your heart. Imagine just like I'm talking to you now and you're doing this, okay? Breathe out through the nose and let that heart breath go to every cell in your body. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, while somebody's talking with you or something. Breathe in through the nose, into the heart. Now this time, hold it and ask a simple question. Might be, what shall I eat today? Whatever it is. Breathe out. Let that heart breath go into every cell in your body. Now breathe in through the nose. Maybe you get the answer to that question. Maybe you got it already. And let that go. Now don't worry if you didn't get an answer to it. We're just building it up. We're practicing. It might have caught you. You might start thinking, oh my God, I don't know what question to ask, you know? So it might put you off in that sense. But just do this again and again and again and again and again, because this will transform your life. Like I say in all my videos, if you're in that relaxed state, if you're in that calm mind, if you're in that heart breathing, how can you possibly get into an anxious state or maintain an anxious state? Let's put it that way. The more you practice this, the better you'll get, to the point that you will not go into anxiety. Remember, you might get fearful of something, but it won't take you out. Anxiety is that repetitive feeling. That's what you can get rid of. You can't get rid of fear. Fear is fear, right? You know, it's a knee-jerk reaction. But most people will get that, ooh, I'm feeling a little nervous. Anyway, there we go. Whereas when we suffer from anxiety, it's, I'm getting a little nervous. Oh my God, it's taking over. I can't even think straight. That's what we're getting rid of. And I mean getting rid of. So practice, practice, practice. You can practice all day long, you know, but put a little reminder every hour. Just take a few heart breaths. When you've got a question, go to the heart. Ask that question from yourself. Before you go here first. Okay? Let me know how you get on. Let me know what you think of this. I am so motivated by this because it has transformed my life and I want it to transform yours. So please practice it and let me know how you get on. Take care. Meow.